Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
A lot of people write me and ask me to pray for them. And I also see a lot of persons leaving comments requesting prayers, or sometimes saying, please will you ask God for this? And it makes me have great empathy and sympathy, because it's a long time since I felt any separation from God as the presence in my life. And clearly these persons are feeling a great deal of separation. You don't need someone to ask God for you. It's not that some persons can be heard and others can't. It's not that some persons can knock on the door louder for you. It doesn't work that way. In fact, the separation that you feel, the notion that God is separate from you, is an illusion that you're creating yourself. God's not separate from us. Creating that illusion is something that you've put a lifetime of work into. Most of us have. But the reality is that even the idea that you are a person or a personality who is looking for God is creating separation from the presence. The idea that you are a person crying out to God for help is the mind creating the separation. The idea that you are a person that needs to ask another person because they can maybe shout louder and so it will be heard is all a story of the mind. And that story is the creation of the separation. And so you don't need to do anything further with that story to reach unity again, because the reality is the unity is there, but the story is masking it. The mind is masking it. The person, the image of the person is masking it. You are creating the separation by paying attention and awareness to a collection of memories and thoughts and images, and believing this rapid firing every day of memory, images, neurons, thoughts to be who you are. And the more you pay attention to that pattern of thought, the more separated you feel from it, because your brain is busy. And when your brain is busy, you can't fall into the nowness. And when you rest in the nowness, and you rest in the nowness, and you rest in the nowness, there you will feel the arising of the presence, of the infinite consciousness that you are dancing inside of, that is God. Present in you now, but unheard by your awareness, because your awareness is distracted by the mind. The awareness I speak of is so unified with God, it's hard to determine where you begin and God ends once you reach that awareness. You are creating the separation by retaining and clinging to the story, which reinforces the person, the mind-based character, the separate mental identity. You are retaining the person inside you. You are retaining the construct that separates you from the presence of God. You are constructing that separation by allowing these stories to keep rising up in your awareness. I am seeking God. I am needing this from God. I am looking for God. Why not alter it? I am that I am. I am with God. I am loving awareness. I am the loving witness. I am. When you get down to there, you rest in the nowness. You listen to the silence. Not the break between the sounds of the world, but the silence from which all sound is born. When you rest in that nowness and listen to that silence, the silence from which my voice is born, the bird song is born, the trees are born, listen to the silence. No more story that you are a person listening to the silence, merely a human vehicle with no person inside that is here now, lovingly aware and lovingly listening, lovingly allowing the sounds of the world that are born from that silence to come and play with their body. The mind not grabbing at them to put a label on, to hear, to see without language, without memories, without the story of a person, hearing and seeing. If you do that, you'll find that this idea of a separate God fades away. Because the presence of it, the presence of the nowness and of God's love will rise inside you there. And it's not so much that it rises, it's that finally you see it, you feel it. Because your awareness is no longer tied up listening to the stories that the mind has of the person. You are not separated from God, but by the creation that you create of that separation within you. Fritzy, we'll see to my son, don't worry. Your mind is the one creating any sense of separation from God. Your mind is the one. The story of this, the story of that, the story of seeking God, the story of serving God, all of this. All must stop. Doesn't mean there won't be a story that you are in service to a higher good at some point with the human vehicle you are. But if you've lost track of the presence of knowing that you are unified forevermore, and the presence, the kingdom is inside you, if you lose track of that, you have to let go of the stories. So as your senses, your nerves, your brain, your heart, everything can listen to the silence, hear in the nowness, free of any story, free of any character, free of any pursuit, free of any chasing, free of any journey. And there you will find yourself practicing the piercing, unconditioned, loving presence of God. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Hello everyone, my name is Madam Grace, and I believe through this session I can identify their problems and help them as we did last year and other years.
One of our programs is called Project Homeschooling. Oftentimes, the children coming into the community come from the streets with no prior education. Many of these children do not have the ability to read or write. Every child has to go through a process before they're eligible to enroll into school. Sometimes it takes quite some time to get in. This program teaches the children to read and write along with many other useful skills, giving them a foundation and a head start. This is one of many programs we provide that we believe makes a huge difference in the children's life.